I had seen page 1 as a work in progress about a month or so ago, but now it's done. A full fan comic that I'm going to take you through because it is a very good fan comic and it lets me explain much more of the lore of the Battle Sisters and their enemies. I asked Reclusiart if I could make a video on this and they foolishly said yes. So this is done with their permission. They haven't paid me or anything. This is a completely unbiased look at an absolutely amazing comic covering one of the best factions to ever exist. And if you'd heard of some Canoness Viridian comic, that's a Marvel thing. We don't need to worry about that. It's not in any way related. So page 1. We have the Battle Sisters front and center, but they're not the only Imperial forces present. We can see the Aeronautica in the sky. Battle Sisters don't necessarily have their own flyers. They sort of do in the lore. It's not really mentioned. It's generally assumed that they will work with the Imperial Navy to get fire support as needed, much in the same way that the Astra Militarum don't have their own fleet and again rely on the Imperial Navy and the Aeronautica Imperialis for ground support. The background buildings are all very Tau shaped and the one in the back right has a Tau symbol, so we know that we're attacking a Tau settlement. And the statement in the top left is that this planet is tainted. That taint is Xenos infestation, but it's not like Tyranid infestation. It is the Tau, who are viewed much the same way as weird, creepy Xenos vermin that need to be stamped out. The Battle Sister Superior refers to the Emperor as a god. It is the God Emperor all the time. It's not like the person I'm genetically vaguely related to in the way that the Space Marines are. He is a god. The creepy creature with the glowing red eyes carrying the fleur-de-lis symbol is a cherub. These are vat-grown creatures deliberately designed to do work like this, move things. If you need decorating done at the level up, you don't get a ladder, you grow a cherub. They're not servitorized babies or anything. They're just meant to be like the cherubs you see in the medieval artwork. It's that, and so it matches the whole Gothic style. We have a sister with a Simulacrum Imperialis, so it's got a bunch of skulls there, praise the saints, and she has some amazing hair, whereas all the other sisters go for this 80s bob cut style. From the symbol on the cloak and the symbol on the belt, we know that this is our Martyred Lady. Also, the color scheme gives it away, though a lot of Battle Sisters like the black or they use white with red or black robes. That's basically your 6 orders of Battle Sisters. They will have one of those parts. The Sister Superior has a flamer. Now, this pattern of flamer isn't the same one as we see on the Battle Sister models, neither the new plastic nor the older metal ones, but it is an Imperial flamer. So this is the kind of style that the Space Marines used to have and the style that the Imperial Guard still have, because Games Workshop has given each Imperial faction a slightly different flamer style. So it's not the flamer you'd normally see with the Sisters, but it is a perfectly valid flamer for 40k. The text tells us that this formerly Imperial world has been conquered by the Tau, and that comes with a different technology and different belief, the greater good, something we'll get onto soon. The style of the Battle Sisters is to attack, and the style of the Tau is to hide defensively behind barricades, remain stationary, avoid close combat, and just use guns to take out the enemy. And we see a bunch of Battle Sisters getting shot, but we also see a dead Tau. Tau blood is canonically purple. I can't tell for certain, but that blood looks red to me. Now either I don't know my colours apart, the artist didn't know that Tau are meant to have purple blood, Games Workshop may have retconned it so that Tau have whatever blood you want, probably red, reddish, or this is all foreshadowing. So the sisters move on and the Sister Superior burns a bunch of Tau and they scream and die, the way aliens opposing the blessed servants of the Emperor should. And we can see several different weapons of the Battle Sisters here. We see the Simulacrum holder reloading their bolt pistol, we have the Superior firing the flamer, we have a sister firing a heavy bolter, and in the background we have a multi-melter, showing that in 10th edition they are more useful fighting infantry than they are fighting vehicles. One of the Tau is injured, and they can see that this is not a Tau from the world of Tau, it is a human from the world they're meant to be liberating, and this is surprising to them. So while the surviving Tau are killed by 2 of the Battle Sisters, the 3 main Battle Sisters, the one with the heavy bolter, the Simulacrum, and the Sister Superior with the flamer, surround this guy and try and get a confession out of him. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? What's going on here? To try and figure out why any human would want to change and be on the Tau side. Must be mind control, surely. Must be coercion. Must be something awful. But when asked, he just says, "To hell with the Imperium." That's a very generic insult, not warp specific. A lot of the Games Workshop insults now have to sound sweary, but not be swear words to make them suitable for all ages. So things like throne, take you, warp, damn you, that sort of thing. But I see no reason why "to hell with the Imperium" wouldn't be considered an insult in the 41st millennium. So there's a beautiful color palette change. We've gone from the bright yellow and orange of the outside battle, so now we are deep within the Imperial city, and it shows what this man felt while he was an Imperial citizen working in the mines. And it was very unpleasant for him is the short version. You see, the void suit he's got is the same one that the Genestealer cult use. That doesn't mean that everyone in one of those void suits is a Genestealer cult acolyte or anything. It's just a mining worker, and the outfit is going to be the same for a lot of the Imperium. The reason being STCs, a standard template construct that means that regardless of how diverse the worlds are, a world that does pure agriculture, a world that does pure mining, a world where just a load of people exist in a metropolitan area, they'll follow the standard template construct and all be looking very similar, which means that when you put the models on the table, people will generally know what they are, regardless of what kind of world they've come from. You can also see on the pillar we have a half person. That isn't a sculpture, that is a servitor. You see, in the Imperium, there are no AI, no complex mechanical systems. It's all done through the human mind. This was because way in the past, before even the Horus Heresy, there was a war against the Iron Men and a lot of AI, not like the current idea of AI, ChatGPT and stuff, actual AI that's actually intelligent. And so the Imperium never does anything advanced without the use of a human mind. So having a servitor, someone who is memory wiped, essentially lobotomized, they are the computer. So that may be the punch card servitor. You go to that servitor, you press a button, it recognizes that you have punched in for the day. Very scary, very 41st millennium, and very oppressive. But just because we understand why a thing is the way it is, doesn't make it any less weird. So the whole life of this guy, he felt wasn't great. But then the Tau came, they invaded, and we can see a Tau coming out of his battlesuit. The size of the Tau there means that he has to be hunched up, have his knees up to his essentially shoulders to pilot the controls. Always very funny. And the head isn't actually where the pilot is. That is just a sensor that goes on top. The pilot is entirely within the chest. And the weapons on that particular battlesuit are a burst cannon and a fusion gun. Fusion gun being like a melter, burst cannon being your rapid fire automatic cannon. We can also see that we have a lot of bodies underneath where this miner is. So that could be representing the past of the Imperium, all of the previous workers who had died, or it could represent those who died from the Tau pacifying the planet. And then we have this whole thing of the hand lifting it up, and it's very XCOM 2, very pseudo-religious, one hand lifting the other up. And with the Tau technology, then they felt free from the Imperium, and it isn't just you will suffer and dredge and things, because they have drones. Drones would do any kind of mining work. Drones are not people, unlike with, say, the Leagues of Votann, who are still led by some of these AI from the past, but very old, very slow working, you wait 20 years for an answer kind of AI. They have kin, which are AI minds. They say that they're equal. Kin is kin. Doesn't matter if you're biological or technological. You are one of the Votann. Tau use drones, and it's expected to be a slow decline. That they are making the same mistakes that the Imperium made in the past and just haven't suffered for it yet. But with drones, they can do all of the mining work if mining work is needed, leaving the humans that were on the planet to live a more fulfilling life. And that's why this guy became a Gue'vesa, one of the Tau's human helpers. So the Tau Empire has the people from Tau that spread out into their empire, and they have a lot of aliens besides that. They have Kroot, who also separately acted as mercenaries. They have the Vespid. They have the Demiurg, which are sort of an offshoot of Leagues of Votann. They're not in the Leagues of Votann because that's a league, but they are the same squat people. Many races, and if a human joins them, they are called a Gue'vesa. Something that doesn't have rules currently in 10th edition, seemed like it would in 9th edition. The Gue'vesa have had rules in the past, where they were a squad of between 6 and 12, and they operated a bit like a special weapon team, where 2 of the models could swap their lasguns for Tau pulse carbines or pulse rifles, or you could have them up to a squad of 12, which at the time was the same number of Tau fire warriors you could have in a unit. Their special rule was not a benefit. Any Imperial units attacking this squad would automatically hit them on a 3+ because of how much they hate traitors. So this man believes so strongly in the greater good, this idea of sacrificing yourself for the community, the collective, very non-individualistic. So he's thinking, if I die now, it'll be for the betterment of the Tau on this world. Also, he's probably dying anyway. Also, we've seen that the Imperium does not take prisoners with the Tau. So he sets off this kind of bomb, expecting he's going to blow himself up and the 3 battle sisters around him. Now, the Tau don't usually go in for kind of grenades like that. They tend to use disruption bombs and trap bombs, things that stop people from charging. Light spectrum emitters to blind them, to make them worse shots, whereas the Tau, with their infrared sensors on their helmets, would not be affected. But the Battle Sisters, seeing this man press a grenade, even dismissing the way that Tau grenades are normally just light emitters like flashbangs rather than crack grenades or anything that's going to melt and explode, the Battle Sisters stay still. They don't run, they don't panic, they don't seem scared. This is built into the way the Battle Sisters are. and our martyred lady in particular. They don't mind dying for the cause, much like the greater good, but they do so because of faith, duty, for what is required of them in the Imperium. They will eventually die for the Emperor. Doesn't matter if it's now, doesn't matter if it's later, they die when the Emperor expects them to. And they have certainty of purpose. Generally, the Battle Sisters are a religious extremist group who perpetuate their order through great acts of martyrdom, giving religious fervor to others. That is shown in the current Hallowed Martyrs detachment. If a sister dies, then the squad gets +1 to hit from then on. And there's a stratagem that lets you shoot back at someone that martyred one of your sisters. If this was a different order, say the Sacred Rose, then they wouldn't care if the bomb is set off either, because they are certain that miracles are going to happen. They build the idea that miracles exist and exist around them into their battle plans. They need to march twice the distance that a normal human can. Doesn't matter, they'll do it anyway because they expect a miracle will happen to get them to the battle. And then it does. A sister from the Sacred Rose would see the Gue'vesa holding the bomb and think, if I'm gonna die, that's the Emperor's will. If I don't, that's the Emperor's will because a miracle happened. Miracles are inevitable, but these martyred lady sisters are just not bothered because they know that if they die, it is their duty done. The bomb doesn't go off, either through faulty technology being damaged in battle, or a miracle has indeed just happened. And that is the response we get from the sisters. The sister with the simulacrum saying, it is a miracle, and so today is not the day we get martyred. And so another sister asks the superior what they're going to do with this Gue'vesa, and the decision is that they will kill him, much like we've seen them earlier executing any Tau survivors. But they use his severed arm attached with a frag grenade and some purity seals and throw that at the Tau as a double explosion in one, and so we see in the next panel a blue and orange explosion, blue for the Tau weapon, orange for the frag grenade. One grenade detonation setting off the other. And we see more injured Gue'vesa at the bottom panel, either from a battle or presumably as a result from this grenade going off. Now at the very start in the first panel, the declaration was, this planet is tainted, that there is something slightly not right with it. Some disease we need to get rid of, some infection that needs to be purged. But now the Sister Superior is declaring, I was wrong, the planet is not tainted, the planet is guilty. It is a collaboration. They have willingly gone over to the Tau. And so the Tau conquest may have been more diplomatic than military. In the 9th edition Crusade rules, there was a very cool thing where you could generate a star system, and then as a Tau player, your Crusade battles would be to try and take over this system, either through diplomatic pressure or through military action on the tabletop. And I really hope it comes back, and even if it doesn't come back, in the 9th edition of the Tau Codex, which wasn't around for as long as it should have been, there is a very cool battle system mechanic there. So if you wanted, as a group of people, to fight over a star system, it shows you how to generate the star system and how to win victories in that star system. Very cool. And so we finally have skulls. Very human-looking skulls rather than Tau skulls, because the Tau skulls have the ridges built into their foreheads, either a single line for a male or a Y shape for a female. And so it looks like the Battle Sisters are purging humans, not Tau aliens. That is their job as part of the, Ordo Hereticus adjacent. They kill witches, they kill mutants, they kill traitors. And as the people of the world have committed a heresy by joining with the alien, they must be purged. And we see similar thinking in official Warhammer content made by Games Workshop. So if you didn't agree with me when I said that the first Pariah Nexus episode wasn't worth paying for Warhammer Plus, and you did get a subscription and you kept watching, then you'll have met a salamander.
My name is Sakan.
Sakan, surname unknown. He protects civilians. That is a salamander thing. But the Battle Sisters think more in terms of faith. Have the people done their duty or have they failed? In which case, they should not be part of the Imperium. So when the sister in Pariah Nexus sees some civilians, her thought is, these people just let the city and the world be ruined by Necrons. They don't deserve protection. They don't deserve to be still alive.
These unworthy souls, the faithless, their minds will rot.
It is rather brutal, but welcome to the 41st millennium. Also, in the Pariah Nexus, the sister had seen firsthand that people could be turned into zombies, so also that. In short, this is an excellent comic, and the comic can be seen in full on Reclusiart's Facebook page, linked at the top of the description. Next to all my usual things like the Discord you can join, my Ko-Fi if you wish to tip me. That's what this glowing blue bar is. As this video isn't sponsored by anyone, any tips are appreciated, and it has my affiliate links if you wish to buy any Battle Sisters or Tau models. I am now going to go and play the Battle Sisters on the tabletop. I mean, what else am I going to do after reading that? I could sit under a bridge and harass some goats until they name an even bigger, fatter goat. But playing Battle Sisters seems much more fun. There are no innocents, only the guilty. And the guilty must be purged. Have a great day of reading, my darlings and viewers.